3, 2, 1.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, theys, and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. Hope you're having a great night, day, weekend, whenever you're checking this out. So, we are in the midst of Oscar season, and the Oscars are next Sunday, or this Sunday, pardon me, March 12th. So Oscar season is always very fun and very terrifying, as you know, here at the Real Pineapple. I work really hard to go ahead and watch as much of this stuff as I can. I've seen every Best Picture nominee except for, I want to say, 2 of them. So I feel very informed and all that fun stuff. And yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting evening. Jimmy Kimmel's hosting again. I like Kimmel when he's talking about, Republicans and ripping them, because that always makes me happy. As far as a comedian, definitely hit and miss. I think he works well with Guillermo, and the Matt Damon beef is one of the funnier ongoing jokes I may have ever seen. And some of the sketches work. His monologues were very kind of hit and miss for me. But Kimmel, fine choice, I guess. I mean, honestly, there are other people I would have rather have host. Like, come on, it's Women's History Month. Give me Taylor Tomlinson. She's an amazing stand-up. I actually would love to see her get an awards show. I mean, have her do it. Have Catherine Hahn. Catherine Hahn would crush the Oscars. She could definitely make the Oscars work. But yeah, Kimmel, whatever, fine. But the big question is, of course, is what's going to win? What's going to win in each category? And I will say, I have my predictions on what I think is going to win. So I'm going to go through every category, and yeah, let's talk about it. So I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. By the way, thank you, Academy, for actually broadcasting all the fucking awards this year. I was very irritated they didn't do it last year, but apparently they're showing everything this year. So, and honestly, look, I understand the actors, the actresses, the writers are the ones who get to shine. But when you think about everyone from the people who are helping out with catering to like the grip to the people who are doing sound editing, like all these people, it's all these components that make up the film. If it was just the actors and the director, shit wouldn't get done. You have to have people who edit the shit. You have to have people do visual effects. So I appreciate the fact that we're actually going to see the full encompassing of everyone who works on a film being highlighted and being celebrated, because that's exactly how it should be. So that rant aside, starting off with Best Sound. So you've got All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Batman, Elvis, and Top Gun: Maverick. So look, I have talked about how Top Gun Magaverick, as I call it, because it is just American propaganda. As long as we're bombing someone, who the fuck cares? I can't stand the discourse around Avatar. I saw the first Avatar. It sucks. I don't care what anyone says. It's not a good movie. I will watch The Way of Water when it hits Disney Plus, at home, comfortable and high. Elvis, don't even get me started. If you've listened to my review of Elvis, I'm not a fan. So then that leaves me with All Quiet on the Western Front and The Batman. And I haven't seen All Quiet on the Western Front yet. I'll probably watch that this weekend before Oscars do premiere. So I'm going to go with The Batman, just because it does bother me that it wasn't nominated for original score, which it should have been. So I'm going to say The Batman here. And that's Stuart Wilson, William Files, Douglas Murray, and Andy Nielsen. So that's my pick. I'm going to go with The Batman for Best Sound. So, okay. Let's see what is next. All right, best original score. We've got All Quiet on the Western Front, which is Volker Bertelmann, Babylon by Justin Hurwitz, The Banshees of Inisherin, which is Carter Burrell, who you probably know from doing the scores for Twilight. Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is Son Lux, and then The Fablemans, which is John Williams. John Williams, of course, is a fucking legend. I love John Williams. If John Williams won, I would not be mad at all, because John Williams is John Williams. But I think this is Banshee's award to win. I thought that between the cinematography and the score, I just felt truly transported with what I was watching. And I love that movie so much. As you know, it was a top 10 for me this year. If you haven't listened to my top 10 best of 2022, that's on the channel. So yeah, I'm gonna go Banshees here. I think that that pulls it off. So, all right, moving on to best hair, makeup and hairstyling. Pardon me. All Quiet on the Western Front, The Batman, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Elvis, and then The Whale. I feel like this is The Whale's award to win. The transformation of Brendan Fraser into Charlie is fucking incredible, and the way that they make Charlie look like you really understand the gravity of the health problems and everything that he is dealing with, and it's an incredible transformation. So that would be Adrienne Moreau, is what I'm gonna go with, Judy Chin, and Anne Marie Bradley. I'm going to say that The Whale wins here. Moving on to Best Live Action Short. So I will be the first to admit I have not seen any of these. I had to look up the synopsis on some of these, or actually on all of these. So so we've got An Irish Goodbye, which is Tom Berkeley and Ross White. Evalu, which is Anders Walter and Rebecca Prusen, is what I'm going to go with. Les Pupil, which is Alice Rohrwacher and Alfonso Cuarón. Night Ride, which is Ulrich, God, these names, Tvitten and Gottlieb Larsen. And then The Red Suitcase, which is Cyrus Nishvad. I'm gonna go Night Ride. Again, that is really just me. That's more of a guess, but I'm gonna go with a Night Ride there. So moving on to best costume design, Babylon, which is Mary Zophres, Elvis, which is Catherine Martin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is Shirley Kurata, and then Miss Harris Goes to Paris, which I haven't reviewed for the channel, but I probably will for Women's History Month since we're in it right now. It's a really cute freaking movie, and I don't think enough people saw that. That's streaming on Peacock, if memory serves. But that's Jenny Beavan. And then what I'm picking to win is Ruth Carter for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. She has worked with Spike Lee and has done quite a few amazing costume designing on Black films. She won for the original Black Panther. I think she repeats here because I think the stuff in Wakanda Forever is next level, and there's even more costuming and there's even more variation in the costumes this time around, given the plot and everything. So I think Ruth Carter is going to win her second Oscar in a row, and I really hope she does. So moving on to best animated short film, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, which is Charlie Mackesy and Matthew Freud. The Flying Sailor, which is Amanda Forbes and Wendy Tilpy. My Year of Dicks, which is Sarah, I'm not going to try the last name, Gunnar Gautier and Pamela Ribben. An Ostrich Told Me the World is Fake and I Believe It, which is a great fucking title. That's Lachlan Pendragon. And then my pick, and not just because I have an interview with the director coming up, but Ice Merchants, which is Yao Gonzalez and Bruno Catano. I love Ice Merchants. I think it's an incredible short, and it's actually streaming on the New Yorker's YouTube channel. You can watch that for free. but it's something that when I watched it, I went, this is just an immersive experience. And I found myself really emotionally moved by it. And considering that there's not a word spoken in that whole short, that's an even more impressive feat. So I gotta go with Ice Merchants here. I think it's well deserved, and I think it's gonna win. And Mr. Gonzalez, I'm pulling for you, man. I hope you get the win, but absolutely adore that short, and I think that's gonna pull off. So, moving on to best animated feature film, we got Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which I haven't reviewed for the channel yet, probably will at some point. Pinocchio's fucking amazing, and it's made even better by the fact that the Disney live action remake was so fucking shitty. And Del Toro's Pinocchio is absolutely incredible. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. That's Dean Fletcher Camp, Elizabeth Holm, Andrew Goldman, Carolyn Kaplan, and Paul Mizzi. The Sea Beast, which is Chris Williams and Jed Schlanger. Turning Red, which is Domi Shi and Lindsay Collins. And what I believe should win, and what I am picking to win, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which is Joel Crawford and Mark Swift. I have so much love and so much praise for that fucking adorable cat. And yes, Puss in Boots being an adorable kitty, yes, that does help. But the fact that the movie takes on anxiety and panic attacks and really has an incredible animation style and makes you feel like Puss is truly in danger, and the villain reveal that we get without spoiling anything. I just love Puss in Boots. And look, Pinocchio, I think, will win. And if Pinocchio does, I'll be honest, out of all of these, this is probably the category where if any of these win, I won't be mad. Because Marcel the Shell Shoes On, that was on my top 10. Turning Red just missed my top 10, and I was really sad because I love Turning Red. The Sea Beast is a great flick too, and as I just mentioned, Pinocchio is amazing. So honestly, any of these could win, and I'd go, yeah, awesome. So I'm pulling for Puss in Boots. I think Pinocchio will probably end up winning, but yeah, either way, I'm very happy with whatever wins. All right, so moving on to best visual effects. There's All Quiet on the Western Front, which is Frank Petzold, Victor Mueller, Marcus Frank, and Camille Jafar. There's Avatar: The Way of the Water, which is Joe Letteri, Richard Bateman, Eric Saden, and Daniel Barrett. The Batman, which is Dan Lemon, Russell Earl, Anders Langlands, and Dominic Tui. And then Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which is Jeffrey Bauman, Craig Hammack, R. Christopher White, and Daniel Sudik. So it's probably going to be this one. It's going to probably be Top Gun Maverick, which is Ryan Tudup, Seth Hill, Brian Litson, and Scott R. Fisher. Look, I don't like Top Gun Maverick. I've talked about it. I have multiple issues with it. But one thing I cannot deny are the visual effects and cinematography and the sound is incredible. It's incredibly well done, as well as the direction. So from a visual perspective, have no issues with it. It's all the plot that drives me nuts. And I will say there is something immersive about the jets and hearing the engine and seeing the plane spin in the air and all that. It reminds me of that one Simpsons episode where Sideshow Bob takes over the air show, but I digress. But yeah, I think Top Gun Maverick's got this. So it'll probably be that. It would be really funny if Wakanda Forever wins, because I know James Cameron hates them comic book films and it would just make me laugh. So I'm pulling for Wakanda Forever. Honestly, the Batman would be awesome too, because I think the Batman has such a beautiful, slick noir style to it that I think is slept on a bit. But yeah, this is Top Gun Maverick's award to lose, in my opinion. So, all right, moving on. Best production design. All Quiet on the Western Front, which is Christian M. Goldbeck, who did the production design. The set design was done by Ernestine Hipper. Avatar: The Way of the Water, production design was done by Dylan Cole and Ben Proctor. The set design was done by Vanessa Cole. Elvis, the production design was done by Catherine Martin and Karen Murphy. Pardon me. The set decoration was with Bev Dunn. The Fablemans, the production design was Rick Carter. The set decoration was Karen O'Hara. And then what I think is probably going to win is Babylon, which is the production design was done by Florencia Martin, and the set design was Anthony Carlino. I do not like Babylon. I think Babylon is way too long. It is self-indulgent as shit. And I just went, all right, so this is about Hollywood being shitty. I mean, I knew Hollywood's shitty. I don't need to watch 3 hours of this fucking movie to get that. But one thing I could never deny about Babylon was the score and the set pieces. So I think this is gonna be. I think this is such a movie that Hollywood loves to reward, and so I feel like Babylon's gonna get at least one Oscar. Pardon me. And in this style, as far as giving for something like production or something like that, this is exactly a way for the Academy to acknowledge the movie, but not acknowledge the more terrible parts about it. So, yeah, I think Babylon's got this for best production design. All right, now we get to best original song. So we get to so there's Applause from Tell Like a Woman, the music and lyrics done by Diane Warren. Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick, music and lyrics done by Lady Gaga and Blood Pop. This is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once, music by Ryan Lott, David Byrne, and Mitski. The lyrics were done by Ryan Lott and David Byrne. Not Two from RRR, which the music is by I'm gonna butcher your name, I'm sorry. Kuravani, and the lyrics, pardon me, are by Chandra Bose. And then what I think is gonna win, Lift Me Up from Black Panther Wakanda Forever. The music by Tim's, Rihanna, Ryan Coogler, and Ludwig, the homie, Gorason. Lyrics by Tims and Ryan Coogler. I feel like that's almost, I don't want to say a lock, but I think it's about as close to a lock as you can get. It's going to be that or Not To. Let me be clear. I love Lady Gaga. I really do. I think I've seen Lady Gaga on tour. She puts on a hell of a show, by the way, if you have not seen her. I can't wait for her to be Harley Quinn, Punchline, in Joker Folie à Deux. But Hold My Hand is not a good song. It's a really weird song for Top Gun Maverick, especially. Not To is fucking amazing. If you've not seen RRR, for the love of God, watch RRR. It's on Netflix. It rules. It's amazing. But yeah, I think given Chadwick's passing, I think given the importance of Wakanda Forever, the fact that it's Rihanna and that she hadn't given us new music in so long in Marvel was what gets her, to go ahead and get out of bed and make another great Rihanna song. Yeah, I think it's Lift Me Up, and I think she's going to crush the live performance that she has coming up at the Oscars. I can't wait to see her perform it. So, okay, moving on. Best International Film. This is quick. It's All Quiet on the Western Front. That's winning. I feel like All Quiet on the Western Front has gotten hot at the right time. And it feels like there's been this kind of similar to Coda last year, where there's been this upswell of people really watching it and really getting into it. I think All Quiet on the Western Front's gonna, I think that's got it. But there's Argentina 1985, Close from Belgium, EO from Poland, and The Quiet Girl from Ireland. Yeah, it's All Quiet on the Western Front. This reminds me very similarly to when Roma got that upswell, and it felt like, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think All Quiet on the Western Front's gonna pull this out. So, moving on to best film editing. There we go. Banshees of Inisherin, which would be Mikkel E.G. Nielsen. Elvis, which would be Matt Villa and Jonathan Redmond. Everything Everywhere All at Once, which would be Paul Rogers. Tar, which is Monica Willie, and then Top Gun Maverick, which is Eddie Hamilton. So I had Top Gun Maverick picked here, and I'm actually torn on this one because the way the frantic pace in which everything everywhere all at once moves, the fact that it's edited so well and brilliantly, it makes me go, maybe that wins. But Tar is one of those movies where it's such a gripping experience. And I do think that the Academy is going to kind of go, we want to get Tar a few wins here, even if it's on the technical side of the film versus more of the acting. But I don't know, Maverick, I think Maverick, like I said, is going to win for visual effects. So I'm actually going to switch up my pick here. I had Maverick. I think Tar is going to win this. I just have this kind of gut feel. I'm going to go Tar. I think Tar is going to win. So, all right. Moving on to Best Documentary Short Film. I didn't get a chance to see any of these, so again, just kind of going for my gut. Got The Elephant Whisperers, which is by Kartiki Gonzalez, is what I'm going to go with. And yes, cat, I know. Ignore my cat in the background. So we've got The Elephant Whisperers, then we've got Haul Out, which is by, I'm going to butcher this, I'm sorry, of Evgenia Arbogava and Maxim Arbogave. How Do You Measure a Year by Jay Rosenblatt. The Martha Mitchell Effect by Anne Alvagru and Beth Livingston, and then Stranger at the Gate, which is by Joshua Siftel and Conal Jones is what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go Stranger at the Gate. I think that's going to pull off the win. All right, moving on to cinematography. All Quiet on the Western Front by James Friend. Bardo, False Chronicle of a Half-Full Truth. That's a tongue twister. By Darius Kondiji. Elvis by Mandy Walker. Empire Light by Roger Dinkins. And then Tar by Florian Hofmeister. So I love the way that Empire Light is shot. I think it's an incredibly beautiful film, even though I was expecting a little more. I did want a little more meat on the bone. I do find the critique of London and the UK as far as how they handle racism. I mean, we could talk about the royal family. Cost Kristen Stewart an Oscar, but I really like what that film has to say. But again, I do just wish there's a little more meat on the bone for it being over 2 hours, but I love the way it's shot. Elvis, despite all my criticisms, and there are many, I think there is a magic to some of the concert scenes that we do actually get with Elvis, especially the comeback special. I think that's incredibly well shot. But for me, because of how cinematic it felt and how sweeping it was at moments just watching it, I think Florian Hofmeister is going to win it here. I really think the Academy wants to give Tar some awards. I'll get to that here as we go on, but I think Tar's got it. Moving on to Best Original Screenplay, got The Banshees of Inisherin, which is written by Martin McDowell. Everything Everywhere All at Once, written by the Daniels. The Fabelmans, which is written by Steven Spielberg and Tony Kushner. Tar, which is written by Todd Field. And then Triangle of Sadness, which is written by Ruben Ostlund. I would be happy if any of these winning outside Triangle of Sadness, because that movie looked dumb. All I noticed was a bunch of white people throwing up, and I just went, yep, cool, I'm out. I'm going to pick Tar. I think this will be kind of the more prestigious award that it is going to win. I think if Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to falter a little bit, it will be in this category. So I'm taking Tar to win, but I'll be honest, I could really see the Banshees pulling an upset here, because I do think that's a movie that's going to get more love than even we think. And again, I'll get to that here in a few minutes, but I think Tar, written by Todd Field, I think that's going to pull out. All right, moving on to Best Adapted Screenplay, All Quiet on the Western Front, which is written by Edgar Berger, Leslie Patterson, and Ian Stokell. Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, which is written by Rian Johnson. Living, which is written by Kazuo Ishiguro. Top Gun Maverick, which is written by Erwin Kruger and Aaron Warren Singer, and Christopher McQuarrie. And then Story by Peter Craig and Justin Marks. Women Talking, which is written by Sarah Polley. So this one's hard for me because, look, I have a lot of issues with Top Gun Maverick. The fact that Top Gun Maverick is being nominated for this, I think it's fucking absurd. I'm just going to call it what it is. It's dumb as fuck. There's no reason that the story is what people were saying, like, yeah, I was totally into that. It's the direction. It's the cinematography. It's the experience that it gives you. The plot is hollow as hell, so the fact that this is getting an Oscar nomination actually really blows my mind, but this is one of those, the movies are, quote, back on quote movies, which, you know, I'm sorry, last I checked, movies have been coming out for the last how many years? The movies are back. Anyways, I'm not going to go on a whole rant about Maverick again, but I really would like to see Women Talking pull off the upset here, because I think that's a movie that I'll be reviewing this month, by the way, since it is Women's History Month. But I think that movie went really under the radar, and I don't really have an answer why it went so under the radar. So I'd really like to see it kind of pull off that subset. I think this is Rian Johnson's award to win. Glass Onion was a huge success, and I can't wait for the third Knives Out film, but Rian Johnson's in his bag right now. He's firing on all cylinders. I have not started Poker Face, but everyone I've talked to has just praised the shit out of that show. I can't wait to watch it. Plus Natasha Lyonne, to quote my friend Nick over at the Afternoon Tune, "Sup, girl." I love what Rian Johnson is doing with the mystery genre right now. So I think it's his to win. I think it's gonna be Rian Johnson winning for adapted screenplay. All right, here is probably the category that I'm having the most trouble with. So, Best Supporting Actress got Hong Shao for The Whale, Carrie Condon for the Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Stephanie Hsu for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Angela Bassett for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Okay, so I know Jamie Lee Curtis has won a couple awards throughout the awards circuit. I get that. I get that Carrie Condon has won a couple awards as well. I believe this is the Angela Bassett's award to win. I believe that with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, I believe that the fact that Ryan Coogler was just dealt one of the shittier hands a director could be dealt, not just losing his franchise star, but, you know, all the shit with Letitia Wright and all that, and the pandemic. I believe that Angela Bassett turned out one of the best performances of her career in this film, and I really believe that this is going to be the role that finally gets her an Oscar. Any other year, and I cannot stress this enough, any other year, this is Stephanie Hsu's award to win. Plain and simple. It does bother me, honestly, that Jamie Lee Curtis got nominated for this because, and look, no disrespect to her because I'm a huge fan of Jamie Lee Curtis. I fucking adore her. I just didn't think her performance, as great as it was Oscar worthy. Personally, Stephanie Hsu is incredible in Everything Everywhere All at Once. She is, in my opinion, you could argue she's the star of that movie. She's absolutely incredible in it. And I would love to see her win. If she won, I would not be mad. I would be really happy for her, because if you've listened to the podcast for a decent amount of time, when I've talked about the Oscars, I do believe that the Oscar, you know, obviously you have those performances from people like Blanchett and whomever, who are that the dependable Hollywood hands that get awards. And sometimes they definitely deserve it. But I really do believe that the Oscar, for as often as they fuck it up, can be used to elevate someone to that next level. And I really think that Stephanie Hsu on that deserves it. So, again, if she won, I would not be mad. If Carrie Condon won, I would not be mad either. If Hong Chau won, I wouldn't. Really, I wouldn't be mad, and this is going to sound bad, I wouldn't be mad with anyone winning. Really, outside of Jamie Lee Curtis, because I'm just not crazy about the performance being Oscar-worthy. So, I'm picking Angela Bassett. This is the one I struggle with the most, and I fully acknowledge I could be fucking wrong, as I could on all of these, but this is the one category I'm just like, I don't know. So I'm pulling for Angela Bassett. I'm pulling for the Queen. But again, I could be wrong. So, okay. Moving on to Best Supporting Actor. Brendan Gleeson for The Banshees of Inisherin. Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway. Judd Hirsch for The Fabelmans. Barry Keoghan for The Banshees of Inisherin. And Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. We all know that who's winning. It's short rounds winning this. This is the one award that I feel pretty confident in that he's winning. And let me just be clear. Any other year, this is Brendan Gleeson all day. This is Brendan Gleeson all fucking day. If Ke Huy Quan doesn't have this incredible comeback, which, my God, I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy that he got a chance to follow his dreams and get another shot. He's going to be coming up in Loki season 2. He's got stuff on the horizon. I'm so happy for him. And this moment in his speech is going to be fucking, oh my God, I will be crying. I'm so excited for him to put his stamp on Hollywood and get some recognition that he's been long overdue. But again, any other year, this is Brendan Gleeson's award to win. This is kind of similar, ironically enough, to when The Dark Knight and Tropic Thunder came out that year's Oscars, where you just go, what was that, 05, 06? Where you just go, yeah, any other year, this is Robert Downey Jr.'s award for Tropic Thunder. But I remember as soon as I saw Heath Ledger's performance, I went, oh, cool, this is it. It's a wrap. That's what this is, and I'm so excited for him to win. Again, Brendan Gleeson any other year, but it's the homie tonight for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I can't wait to see him win. All right, we've got a couple more here. Here's another one that's really difficult. Cate Blanchett for Tar, talking about Best Lead Actress. So Cate Blanchett for Tar, Ana de Armas for Blonde, Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans, Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Okay, here's where it gets tricky for me. It should be Michelle Yeoh. It should be Michelle Yeoh. Let me say it one more time. It should be Michelle Yeoh. I'm a little worried. I'm just worried enough that I think that Cate Blanchett could sneak in and win this. And look, Cate Blanchett, I love Cate Blanchett. I love Cate Blanchett so goddamn much. I think Cate Blanchett is so great so often that we do sleep on her a little bit. I think she's underappreciated in her craft, to be quite frank. And I could see there is a world where she wins this. So if she does win, I would not be shocked. I just rewatched Tar last week, and it's just like, God damn, this woman's a monster. But I mean, you think about Carol. She's great in Ocean's 8. I mean, I could get into Lord of the Rings movies, of course, but then you get Blue Jasmine, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Don't Look Up, The Aviator, Nightmare Alley. She's great in Del Toro's Pinocchio for the bit she gets. She's even fucking great. She's the best thing about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and that movie is horrible. And that's before I even get to fucking The House of a Clock in Its Walls, which is a movie that, again, horribly underrated. She's a great voice actress. Fuck the last two How to Train Your Dragon movies. She's amazing. She's an absolutely amazing actress, and she's constantly amazing. Even in something like Where'd You Go, Bernadette, which I do think is a bit contrived, to put it mildly, she still turns out a good performance in that, even though I think the script doesn't give her a ton to do. But Tar is such an incredible performance, and I totally get why some people want her to win. I do. But goddamn it, Michelle Yeoh has been grinding for years. She deserves this recognition. She deserves this praise. Everything Everywhere All at Once, this will be the live action Spider-Verse. You're going to see people emulating the style, being inspired by it, trying to replicate it in some way, shape, or form. for years to for decades to come. What am I talking about? So I get it. I get why some people want Cate Blanchett to win. And again, I'm a huge fan of Cate Blanchett. Let me just get this out of the way real quick. I won't go off on the whole To Leslie thing, but the way that came about and the fact that Viola Davis does not have Andrea Riseborough's nomination is goddamn ridiculous. It should be Viola Davis here. And if it's Viola Davis, between her and Michelle Yeoh, that gap gets really close for me because Viola Davis is incredible in The Woman King. And the fact that she just got pushed aside for all that stunt work, for all that training, for the incredible presence that she brings to the screen before she even utters a fucking word, that pisses me off. And it really does bother me that, of course, there will be those assholes who go, oh, it's just black people complaining, blah, 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 like that bullshit. Viola Davis deserved the nomination for Best Actress. And it really does bother me when you have Andrea Riseborough, who I don't believe deserves her nomination, especially the way she went about it. And then fucking Ana de Armas for Blonde. I watched Blonde, and I'm sorry, that's just a fucking rape fantasy for 3 hours. That's all that movie is. And the fact that it's even nominated for anything in the acting sphere, it's fucking nuts to me. So it just makes Viola Davis's absence from the category look 1,000 times worse. And I hate it. I hate it so much. But all that said, I think Michelle Yeoh's got it. She should have it. If it's not her, it's going to be Blanchett. And let me just be clear, because I didn't talk about her too much. Michelle Williams is so amazing in The Fabelmans. The way that she plays the nuances of where her character goes and just some of the more intense emotional beats. Michelle Williams is incredible. And I love her so much. I love her work. I think she's a true student of the craft. And this is just one of those years where I think a lot of stuff came out kind of late in the game. You're like, okay, we're the juxtaposition. Where does this land? I really like Michelle Williams a lot. I'm a little sad that I think her performance is getting lost in the shuffle a bit, but yeah, unfortunately, this wasn't the year. So, but I think Michelle Yeoh's got it. So, all right, moving on to Best Lead Actor. Got Colin Farrell for the Banshees of Inisherin. Got Paul Mescal for Aftersun. Got Bill Nighy for Living. Got Austin Butler for Elvis. And I've got Brendan Fraser for The Whale. All right, so look, I've talked about Elvis. I fucking hate Elvis. I think Elvis sucks, not just as a person, but as a singer. I don't like Elvis. I've never liked Elvis. I'll never like Elvis. Not just because he stole black people's music, but I don't like Elvis. Never have, never will. Austin Butler is going to be in that Michael Fassbender camp for me after Fassbender did 12 Years a Slave. I'm going to need like a year, maybe 2, to just not like Austin Butler, and then I'll be fine. But Austin Butler seems like a cool guy. Like, white people love Elvis. What do you want me to say? I'm black, I don't. But a lot of people are saying it's going to be Butler. I could easily see him being Butler. And if it is Butler, I'm going to roll my eyes and go, dumb. I could easily see it being Butler. And let me be clear. I do believe, though, that Hollywood loves a comeback story. And Brendan Fraser in The Whale, it's been his comeback. People are talking about how, oh my God, why did we sleep on this guy? Which, by the way, Doom Patrol is a thing that exists. I know it's going to end, but Doom Patrol's been on for like 3-4 seasons. And Brendan Fraser's been amazing on there. And it's because Warner Brothers doesn't fucking advertise anything. So some people might not know Doom Patrol exists. But if you're loving Brendan Fraser and you're like, I want to see Brendan Fraser in something kind of weird, watch Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol kicks ass, but I digress. I do want to shout out real quick Paul Mescal for Aftersun, because I love Aftersun so much. That was my number 4 favorite film of 2022. I fucking love Aftersun, and I can't wait to see what Paul Mescal continues to do. If he won, and I don't think he's going to win, but if Paul Mescal won, I would be so goddamn happy. Because A, it would be an upset like a motherfucker, and B, oh my God, just the amount of glee I would have from that level of swerve for something that I love so much, I'd go, hell yeah. So Look, again, I don't see it happening. I hope it happens. I'd be happy with Paul Mescal winning, but I don't think it's going to. I think it's Brendan Fraser's award to lose. So here's the thing. I think it's a three-way race between Fraser, Farrell, and Butler. I would not be shocked if Colin Farrell won tonight. It would be a little unexpected. It might be considered, quote, an upset. I could see Farrell winning, though. I would not be shocked if Farrell won. But I'm sticking with my gut. I'm sticking with what I've been saying pretty much all awards season. I think it's Brendan Fraser. I think he's got it. So, yeah, that is my pick. Brendan Fraser for The Whale. All right, 2 more categories and I'm going to get out of here. Best Director. Martin McDowell for The Banshees of Inisherin. The Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans. Todd Field for Tar, and Ruben Östlund for Triangle of Sadness. So, look, Spielberg is Spielberg. Spielberg always has a chance to win. He always has a chance to win. I would not be surprised if Spielberg won. I wouldn't be surprised if Martin McDowell won. Honestly, Ruben Östlund, just don't even think about him. He ain't winning. But it really feels like a 4-person race, I feel like. Todd Field could win for Tar, because as I mentioned earlier in my predictions here, I do think that the Academy wants to reward Tar, so I would not be surprised if Todd Field won for Best Original Screenplay and Best Director. I would not be shocked by that. But I do think that this is the Daniels. I think it's their year. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is such a force that in the directing category, they will want to go ahead and acknowledge the incredible helming of this movie. So, yeah, I think it's the Daniels. I think they got it for Best Director. So that's my pick. The Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once. All right. And then the main event, Best Picture. All Quiet on the Western Front by Malt Grenert is what I'm going to go with. Avatar The Way of the Water, which is James Cameron and John Landau. Banshees of Inisherin, which is Graham Broadbent. Peter Zurin and Martin McDowell. Elvis, which is Baz Luhrmann, Catherine Martin, Gail Berman, Patrick McCormick, and Schreier Weiss. Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is Daniel Kwan, Daniel Schneidert, Jonathan Wang. The Fabelmans, which is Christy Maxku, Krieger, Steven Spielberg, and Tony Kushner. Tar, which is Todd Field, Alexandra Mission, and Scott Lambert. Top Gun Maverick, which is Tom Cruise, Christopher McGuire, David Ellison, and Jerry Bruckheimer. Triangle of Sadness, which is Eric Himmendorf and Philippe Bauber. And Women Talking, which is Deed Gardner, Jeremy Cleaner, and Frances McDormand. Okay, so this is the award that I'm actually the most confident in, ironically enough. This is kind of like that. This really does feel like the year that Coda won. So this really does feel like last year for me, where Everything Everywhere All at Once, it came out really early in the year. I think, March, April, I want to say. But it came out early in the year, but it really felt like once it came out on digital and once it came out on, 4K and Blu-ray and all that, it felt like it really got this renewed power behind it around October. And it's really kind of ridden that wave all throughout award season. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once has been a fucking force. So I really do think that this movie, I think this is it, man. I think this will take the top prize. I think this is actually, I don't want to say boring, but it is kind of predictable. But just like in pro wrestling, and I've said this before, just because something's predictable doesn't mean that it's not the right choice. And Everything Everywhere All at Once, even though it was lower on my list, I do believe this is one of the best films of the year. Let me just say, I think Avatar, The Way of the Water, and Top Gun Maverick being nominated is fucking stupid. I would just like to throw that out there. Not just because of what James Cameron said about Marvel and the superhero genre at large, but because I remember watching the first Avatar and I went, all right, whatever. Don't get why people are freaking out about this outside the 3D. but apparently that warranted a Best Picture nomination. And for some reason, this one's getting a Best Picture nomination. It's the same thing that I think of like with something like Licorice Pizza, where I go, this is getting a nomination for Best Picture because of who's directing it, not because of the actual content. And that's where I just go, this is driving me fucking nuts. And Top Gun Maverick, is it a great theater experience? Sure, you can make that argument. Do I think this is one of the best films of the year? Fuck no. Because the script has a bunch of plot holes in it, and it's just not that sort of film. Not something that I think should be nominated for Best Picture. And let me just throw this out there too. You know, I do find it funny that, you know, box office doesn't matter until it does. You know, Avatar makes over $2 billion. That's why it deserves Best Picture. But, you know, Infinity War, Endgame, did either of those get Best Picture nominations? Fuck no. So what? Is it because the people are blue instead of in costumes? Is that why this gets a Best Picture nomination? I think it's dumb as hell, and I pray Avatar and Top Gun Maverick don't win. Pretty much anything else winning, you know, no, that's not true. Okay, let me think here. Triangle of Sadness, fuck that. Top Gun Maverick, fuck that. Elvis, fuck that. Avatar: Way of the Water, fuck that. Anything else winning, I'd be like, all right, cool. I would just love for women talking, as I mentioned earlier, to pull an upset here. But I do think it's going to be Everything Everywhere All at Once. If it's not Everywhere Everything All at Once, I could see... I'm going to say Banshees. If Banshees of Inisherin... If it's not Everything Everywhere All at Once, I think it's Banshees of Inisherin. I think that will win Best Picture if it's not Everything Everywhere All at Once. Because I just think the Academy is starting to really dig that movie more at the right time. I think if Banshees of Inisherin had maybe come out maybe August, I think the movie would be in more contention for some of the big awards. But I'm going to stick with my pick that I've been saying for months now. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think it's got it. I think it will win Best Picture. So, everyone, that's every category. What are your picks, y'all? Let me hear what you guys think is going to win. I would love to hear what you guys think is going to win. But let us know in the comments. Fill out the ballot. Let us know what you think is going to win. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at jhunterrealpineapple. You can also follow me on Instagram at jhunterrealpineapple. Oh God, what else do we have coming up? We've got a lot of stuff coming up. I've got several interviews coming up here, which I'm really excited to go ahead and bring to y'all. My review with Erin C. Buckley for her short film CC Dances the Go-Go, that is live now for Women's History Month. So if you've not checked that out, definitely go ahead and make a trip. Make sure you check it out. It's a really fun interview. I got an interview up right now with Clayne Crawford for his film The Integrity of Joseph Chambers. That's live on the channel right now. You can follow all of our stuff, our Facebook pages, subscribe, rate, subscribe, share the podcast, please. That definitely helps us out. You can find all of our information on linktr.ee/jhunterrealpineapple. You can follow me on the Twitter at TheRealPineapple. You can follow me on, like both our pages, on Facebook at The Real Pineapple and Real Pineapple Games. You can follow me on TikTok at BlackShazam775, and you can follow me on Letterboxd at BlackShazam. And you can, as I mentioned, like, share, subscribe. Definitely helps the podcast out. You can find us on SoundCloud, Apple, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneUp, and Samsung Podcasts, to name a few, at The Real Pineapple. But as I mentioned, I'm going to have reviews up here and interviews coming up with, oh gosh, I've got quite a few. I'm sitting here trying to remember them all. I have a interview coming up with Michael Marin, who also directed the film A Little White Lie. That review will be up this week. I've got a review coming up for the short film Ice Merchants, which is nominated for Best Animated Short Film. I've got an interview with the writer, director, co-animator of that short film, and Yael Gonzalez. That will be up this week. I've got a review coming up next week, along with a review for Boy From Nowhere with first-time director S.J. Finley. And oh god, what else do I have coming up? We've got reviews coming up for Creed 3 as well as for 65, the new the new Adam Driver film. So yeah, got quite a few things coming up. So it's gonna be a lot of stuff dropping here in the next couple weeks, as well as a review for Women Talking as well, because Women's History Month. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Good luck to all the nominees outside of Elvis and Avatar and Maverick. I hope you all have a great night. I hope you have a great day. Daylight saving time is terrible. I am up way earlier than I would like to be, but that's okay. But everyone, stay safe out there. Enjoy the Oscars tonight, and we will talk to you soon.